It's so good to be back in the Q&A with you, NJ. I hated doing that Terminator Nj Q&A. It was horrible. Don't make me go through it again. Please, 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 please. I didn't like it one bit. I didn't like it.
All for you people that were aware, I was sadly away from the last Q&A because I don't know, I blacked out all of a sudden, and I was meant to have been here for one of the Q&As or just for the start so Terminator Nj could step in, but I totally blacked out.
It was horrible last week. I didn't like doing the Q&A with Terminator Nj. It sucked. But anyway, we're back together now doing a Q&A. Thank God for that. I am Mr. Parkin. This guy sitting next to me is not Terminator Nj. It is none other than normal NJ.
What's up?
And we are indeed the British Fist. Here to answer your questions in this Q&A. Subscribe above, like this video, and comment any thoughts and opinions you have on the questions we have answered down in that comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the link in the box below.
Yes, and keep sending in questions for us as well. We've had overwhelmed with questions lately, but if you have any questions for us, send them in via YouTube inbox, facebook.com/BritishFist, commenting down below, of course, or twitter.com/BritishFist with the hashtag BritishFistQA.
And it's these questions that are keeping us going. We've heard from many people that the Q&A are one of their favourite videos we do, same as us. They're very good, keep us thinking and keep us answering, so keep them coming.
Indeed. So we'll get straight on with Q&A number 66. The Nature Girl 30, a channel you guys should go and subscribe to. Does very, very good videos. A very underrated member in the YWC is Regina. She asked us 2 questions for this Q&A. Number 1, with Raw going to 3 hours, do you think that the WWE will focus more on decent storylines and feuds? No.
Going into 3 hour Raw, I was thinking you've got a bigger roster than what you're showing us. It's your chance to start using your wrestlers, start making better mid-card feuds, start making better tag teams, but sadly they've gone completely opposite way and used their time to hype up main events and main eventers.
You would think that they would use that time to focus more on storylines and more in-depth storylines and multiply layered storylines, but unfortunately, they haven't. Most of the show now, most of the extra hour is used as video packages and filler of what has happened on the show, so that is very unfortunate. Are you guys planning on going to a WrestleMania someday? If it comes to Britain, we will definitely be the first ones to sign up for that one.
Again, with my thought of WrestleMania, it is the biggest event of wrestling history, and I'm thinking, yes, it'd be nice if it came here, but if there's a chance that we can get to the States, we'd definitely go to one of them.
We would indeed. You're not really a wrestling fan until you've been to a WrestleMania. That's really, well, not necessarily that, but it's the most pinnacle moment in wrestling. And as some fireworks go off outside our house, we're going to go on to the next question. Thank you very much for submitting those questions, Regina. Nature Girl 30 to all of your YouTubers out there. Mr. Jermaine 418. Since you love football and all, what did you think of Vince's ideal of Smosh Moth Football, the XFL? It was a fail after a year.
His biggest idea that he came up with once was taking over Newcastle. I was all for that. I loved that idea.
He did have that thing. He was going to take over Newcastle Football Club. And we were like, oh, no, they ain't going to like that, are they? Some Americans coming in and taking over their club, the Geordies. And what is your favourite Raw moment? So many.
When Raw turned 3 hours.
Yeah, that was a great moment. Probably the first Raw, because that was when it all began. We watched the Raw. It wasn't exactly the greatest of Raw, but it was the start of something very iconic. There have been many other moments there, but if it wasn't for the first Raw, then we'd never have had the next 999 and plus the next 5 after that.
That's very true, and one that stands out for me is when The Rock makes appearances after being away for years and years and years, and he made his appearance back. That was really good.
The Austin Beer Truck moment. The Rock doing the Sacramento rock song, that was pretty good as well. There's so many.
And the one that stands out for me, or 2 that stand out for me, is when Triple H crashed Stephanie's wedding with Test, and number 2 is when Triple H fired Vince McMahon.
So I'm glad I crashed the wedding. Oh God, McFly. Was it McFly or Busted? I can't remember. They're both the same anyway. We both hate them. So thank you for submitting the questions, Mr. Jermaine. There are so many good Raw moments. You can put yours in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you about your favourite Raw moments over the last 20 years or however it's been long. 1,005 episodes to be precise. Howard the Man. Who do you think the next one to turn heel or face will be in 2013?
It's been a few times this asked. There's 2 wrestlers that stand out to me, but I'm going to try and pick one. There's The Miz or Dolph Ziggler. I think they've been heels for a while. It's turned one of them face. I think with The Miz failing, it could be more likely him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know at this point in time. Ziggler has been getting good reactions, but do I think they will turn him heel? No. Again, I think Miz is too good of a natural heel to be a face, so I don't really know. I mean, you guys give us your thoughts. Who on the roster do you think they will turn heel or face in the next year or so? Don't really know right now, unfortunately. Gaming Unified. What do you guys think was the worst pay-per-view since WrestleMania? I think it was Over the Limit.
Okay, so you're saying this year?
This year, yeah, after WrestleMania this year. So you had Extreme Rules, good pay-per-view. You had No Way Out, Over the Limit, Money in the Bank, So you've had 3 kind of pay-per-views. Which is the worst out of those 3? SummerSlam, maybe?
Well, SummerSlam was worse, but what I'm going to say is that Extreme Rules had stuff going for it, but it's the main event that took everything away from me. So I'll say with the booking for Extreme Rules, it definitely did it for me.
See, I think Extreme Rules is a very good pay-per-view, but I mean, I think it's between Over the Limit and No Way Out. Over the Limit had that crappy match with John Laurinaitis and John Cena, so I will say Over the Limit. It just never seems to really live up, and the fact that it replaced Capital Punishment, which was equally as bad, says so much. So there we go. Cheat Death. Why don't WWE have a match that fights outside the ring, like backstage bar brawl, or completely different place like the old days of DX and Stone Cold shit? Oh, they're in another era where that is really not really necessary.
They try to do it with full count anywhere, but when they do that, they always end up like at the ring side or on the stage. If it was like the hardcore matches, then they'll go absolutely everywhere. Yeah. The square, they'll go out in the streets. But I think as time goes on, they're just trying to make the matches end in a quicker pace by having it all in one area, sadly.
I mean, they did it with the Wade Barrett-Randy Orton feud with Randy Orton falling down the stairs and loads of backstage stuff there. That was some pretty good stuff. But I'm afraid that's Attitude Era stuff. We've got to move on from the Attitude Era and realise that it is the PG era, and this kind of stuff won't be happening as much as some of us old school fans don't like it. Purple 1405 asked us 2 questions. Do you think WWE should stop relying on past stars, especially considering that they overshadow present stars? For example, The Rock completely overshadowing Miz at WrestleMania 27.
I'm going to be two-sided with this. At first, I thought they should stop. Like, before The Rock came back to go up the scene, I just thought they should just stick to what the rest they have and try and build them up. When I thought about it, the only rest they have to put people over is basically Cena and maybe Orton at the time. And I just thought, bringing back The Rock, having Mick Foley make appearances, Bret Hart, Brock Lesnar. Well, Brock Lesnar's not really doing his job, but the others, I think, fine, bring them back. But as long as their time within the WWE is to put someone over, not to make the best stars look better. Yeah, indeed, and that's where I come from this. I think there is a place for stars like The Rock, past stars, to come in and generate buzz for a company, especially when it is at such a low point in the WWE. But essentially, at the end of the day, you need to bring in these stars to help your future of your company, and not just as a short-term thing like I think Vince McMahon is trying to do right now. I think this year, when they brought in The Rock and Brock Lesnar, was the biggest sign by WWE in years that they really didn't have that much star power that they really need to. They even brought in Chris Jericho as well. So I think with, let's say, Chris Jericho, fine, he was a full-time wrestler for the WWE anyway. Rock's doing his job slowly. Brock Lesnar, again, is 3 opponents and possibly one down the line are few stars that already made it.
Yeah.
So he's more of a money draw instead of putting people over. So in my opinion, Brock Lesnar's not doing the job that I was hoping he would do. But there we go.
I guess that's why Vince brought him in. Money, yeah, because he was a businessman, essentially. So there you go. Also, why do you think WWE and TNA don't allow their heels to get clean wins? I think I look at Bobby Roode and I think to myself, I'd like for him to have got some clean wins, but the reason for these unclean wins are generally to try and get as much heat on the heel as possible. But it is nice once in a while to see heels get a legit clean victory.
It's like one of the heels I think gets okay victories is Buddy Ray.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty good wins in his time. In WWE, it is sad that it went from Triple H, who used to be the heel that used to find his way of winning and stuff, Batista, blah, 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 and now it's gone to the face is getting all the wins. I think it's pretty sad in WWE, but TNA a bit more fair to the heels.
They are indeed. And he also asked Purple, whoever asked this question, I think it's Purple, do you think it has anything to do with Vince being obsessed with making money and the fact that faces sell them more merchandise than heels? There is certain truth to that, but let's face it, the more heat you get on the heels, the more people will want to see the babyface win, and therefore they get behind them more, so it is kind of counteractive in that way. Yes, it may sell more merchandise, but it does work against them in that sense that they don't get as much heat as they used to on the heels and to get the babyface over more, essentially. Madman Gaming asked us 2 questions. What has been your favourite feud in WWE history? I'll start with you, NJ.
There's 2 that stand out from recently and the past. The past would always be Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Absolutely great matches we can name. Now, I think it would be Triple H Orton, which was good, but even earlier than that, Gosh, there's not really been many strong feuds for the WWE following Triple H and Orton for me.
Well, I think I will go back to old school on this one. Hulk Hogan and Andre was a feud which launched 3 pay-per-views, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam, and was a feud that essentially changed the course of wrestling history at WrestleMania 3. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels was a great blood feud. Rock and Triple H was also always a good feud. You had all those stars in WWE in the Attitude Era that had great feuds. Austin and McMahon is another great feud that launched the Attitude Era and was the linchpin of how profitable that company was during that time. Austin versus the boss, Mr. McMahon.
Very true indeed. I think that they're old school. They had their booking a lot better, like we said many times. Now, like even I struggle to think of a feud that's happened now. In TNA, it would be the Ace and Eight versus TNA. That's one strong feud, but other than that, there's no long-term feuds happening within the WWE.
What has been your favourite face-heel turn in WWE history? Do you have one?
Orton to heel to face. Yeah!
Favourite heel turn? God, off the top of my head, I remember when Andre turned heel on Hulk Hogan and that led into that WrestleMania 3 match. The worst one, in my opinion, was Austin turning heel on The Rock and aligning himself with Mr. McMahon at WrestleMania 17.
One that stands out to me is DX, because we have Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the ring. They're doing their welcoming throws. Then all of a sudden, Triple H pedigrees Shawn Michaels, turning him to more of a stronger heel over Shawn Michaels. That one stands out for me. Yeah,
give us some of your favourite face heel turns in WWE history in the comment section below. I guess the best face turn, essentially, at the end of the day, would be Austin from the Ringmaster to Stone Cold, and Rock at Survivor Series 98, when he went face and turned heel and aligned himself with Mr. McMahon. How good was that?
I'd say with The Rock, again, he's great at having the easy turn to go heel when he wants, even the crowd's not with him when he's heel. Unless they always see him as a face, no matter what he does, but Rock's got the power in his hands.
Extreme Rockamaniac. If you two had a wrestling feud, who would be the heel and face, and what kind of storyline would you surround it with? Who's better as a heel, me or you, do you think?
Hit people with a brick.
Hit me what? Hit you with a brick.
Here's a little fact about me.
Go on.
Sometimes when I click and have my anger moments, people sub at a hit with a brick,
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that makes me a full-blown heel, because most of the time I'm seen as Mr. Nice Guy.
So you think I would play the heel and you would play the face? Because I must admit, I think people would rally behind you a lot more than they would rally behind me. I think you're more likable than me. I can't face it. That is a fact. So I think I would be the heel, you would be the face, and the whole storyline would be who has the rightful ownership and the administrative power of this channel. How good of a storyline would that be? Might even play it out one day, who knows?
The way I personally do the storyline is, obviously you're a great fan of TNA, so you'll probably be the heel of TNA, I'll be the face of the WWE, and we're fighting for the battleship of which show's better.
And Vincent McMahon would definitely bury my company, especially seeing as I'm here. He loves to book baby faces. I'm and AR6. What a name. What do you think was the best DX parody program? Mine's Nation of Domination. There's Nation of Domination, and there's also the one with Mr. McMahon shit. Shawn Michaels doing Shane McMahon. That was hilarious. Those two are awesome.
Vince McMahon dancing, singing. Oh, what a moment to remember.
That was great. I love that. Any others that you could think of? They're the main two, aren't they?
They're the two that stand out, but I do agree when they did the Nation Domination, that was very entertaining. Smell what the Rock is cooking. Yeah, very nicely done.
Who was playing Owen Hart? There was this tiny guy that looked like Spike Dudley playing Owen Hart, going, yes! But anyway, we'll move on. Ben W241, excuse me. After watching Raw 1000 and the way Damien Sandow was used and is obviously rated high, how soon would you put Sandow into the US or IC title picture?
Well, straight away, before Cesaro became the US champion, which I do not agree with, Sandow was screaming out that he is worthy of a mid-card championship. Yes, the IC is higher up, but the US was definitely had to be given to someone better, and Sandow was the one.
Sandow was definitely featured on TV, by far the best newcomer, apart from Ryback being featured on TV, so it made logical sense for him to be US champion. I'd have thought they'd want to give him a mid-card belt at some point down the line before they push him into the main event, which is essentially what they're going to do, because Triple H likes him, and when Triple H likes you, you generally get through to the main event. The next bit of the question from Ben W241 was, following on from how long you would wait to put him in the main event scene, who would you like to be an ideal opponent for him? An ideal opponent for Sandow? I mean, I always thought You need, like, Sandow has got this thing about ignoramuses and stuff, so you could put him against anyone, essentially. But, like, a Brodus Clay, Zack Ryder, you know, Santino, those were all three logical low-card feuds. So what about main event feuds?
Well, before we go into the main event, at the moment, like we said earlier about turning people faces, I would love to see Miz and Sandow. I just think that would pretty much good talks on mic, and they could start in the mid card because that's where Miz is right now. But in the main event,
imagine him going through all the members of the DX and then getting to Triple H at WrestleMania or something. How that would work. That could play out quite well, I think.
Not many people want to see Triple H wrestle anymore, and Triple H is the COO, but it could be the way to go, especially when it's Triple H going to be hopefully putting him over.
Especially playing off what they did at Raw 1000. That's where the idea came from.
But if I had to go with one more, I would like to see just the way they are. I think, again, it's hard because the face getting put so strong, but we don't really have the long list of many faces. So, main event, the only really faces we have is Orton and Sheamus. But
yeah. In feuding with Cena, that could be pretty good. You're the representation of the masses, and you're definitely not going to put me over. How would you bring Bray Wyatt onto WWE TV? The way I would do it is I would get a load of FCW guys to be his followers and bring him in like that. Basically do what they're doing on the FCW shows and the NXT shows with his mic work. Put him in a couple of squash matches. Have him with his followers come down to the ring. I think that would just be a great way of bringing him to TV with his followers.
I've only known a lot about NXT through Dan's YouTube videos, but when I think of it, the way I'd bring him in is for him to do like video packages speaking about his coming towards the WWE, then all of a sudden make his debut appearance, which I thought would be a nice steady way.
If you have any ideas on how you would bring Bray Wyatt to TV, or whether Damien or opponents for Sandow, put them in the comment section, guys. Anything Goes Show WWE. Another channel you guys should go check out. Anything Goes Show WWE. What was the most outrageous WWE Attitude Era segment? Outrageous. The birth of the hand was emphatically outrageous, don't you think? Any other outrageous moments you can think of? Yeah, there was plenty of them.
Outrageous.
To be honest, there are so many that you can't remember.
Vince McMahon. Kane putting fire to Jim Ross.
Yeah, that was pretty outrageous. You guys have any other outrageous moments? Let us know in the comment section. There's just so many, and sometimes there are so many you can't remember because there are so many.
Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club. Outrageous. Never again.
Yeah, never again. What about Triple H and his little British gimmick that he had when he first came in, eh? That was an outrageous moment in my opinion. Wildcats 8329. Should WWE bring back the King of the Ring pay-per-view, and who should win if first brought back? Wade Barrett. And yes.
Get rid of the stupid, the bad luck you get from it, the curse, and I'd say bring it back, but at the same time, the pay-per-views you've got now are pretty strong as they are. If you bring it back, it would have to be Wade Barrett, because he's the one who screams out the royalty, yes.
Yeah, and if I was WWE, I'd get rid of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which is essentially a very lazy way of booking a guy going into the main event scene. Replace it with King of the Ring. Put the King of the Ring before SummerSlam. Have the winner of the King of the Ring face off against the champion at SummerSlam. Kind of like how they did Brock Lesnar and Rock. That's what I would do anyway. Wazim J2A2. What do you guys do for a living? I'll go to you first, MJ, because you have the by far more interesting job than me.
You could say that you've had a better way of getting into your job, but with me, I work with people who've got various problems in their lives, starting from like school, work, relationship problems, all the way up to mental health.
Yeah, I work for my dad. I work in the office of my dad's company, and I hope to eventually take the company over. That's where I'm working right now. That's all I can really disclose about my job, I'm afraid. AJ Warrior, with a 0 as the O. If you were the captains in a Survivor Series match, what 3 superstars would you have on your team to take on The Big Show, Daniel Bryan, Robbie E, John Cena, and Samoa Joe? 3 superstars.
Robbie E, why the hell you got him in that team?
I don't know, I guess they need someone crappy in there to job.
Bully Ray, I'm stealing him.
Bully Ray, James Storm,
Terminator Nj,
Kevin Steen.
And
one more.
Okay, Wade Barrett.
Yeah, I agree, Wade Barrett. That's the team we would have. Team British Fist. Super Rob Van Dam. Don't like that name one bit. If you were a WWE superstar, what would your finisher be? The British Slam, or something stupid like the British Slam, or something. I don't know what it would be, but
I can't recreate one from the top of my head. But I just love the tombstone, so I'd probably have a spiked tombstone pile driver.
Break everyone's neck. That would be the great part of the gimmick. It would break everyone's neck legitimately. Banzi765. Was just wondering, who do you think should be in the Hall of Fame out of the following superstars? MVP, Shelton Benjamin, William Regal, Bobby Lashley, and Matt Hardy. Regal.
Yeah, that's definitely stands out. Even though when you say Shelton Benjamin has steadily progressed as well, strongly in the tag team, but
in ROH. He's in ROH right now, so there's not really grounds for a Hall of Fame. I think out of those guys, William Regal has by far the most glittered career and would definitely be a good Hall of Fame inductee, in my opinion. William Regal out of those 5 guys. Orton Straight brother. If John Cena will not be in the title picture, how would you book him, and who should he face at Mania if not for the title? Well, put Cena against young guys to put them over. That would genuinely be the way forward for me.
Again, you're not saying in a non-title picture, but in a way, I had a title match in my mind that would have been really good, but non-title match. I'm going to say I'd like to see him probably go over and put, again, I'm going to say this title or non-title, Barrett.
John Cena versus Barrett. I mean,
actually do it properly this time.
Actually do it properly. I must admit, I think Cena's, they are trying to push Sheamus as this next big baby face. Imagine Cena putting over Sheamus. I think that would be one guy who Cena would probably be told by Triple H to put over clean. So that could work out. Do we have any more questions? Or
I'll have a look. We'll have a look.
On the next page of abundance of questions. We'll answer a couple more. Clarkson Yol Lopez. Who are your favourite wrestlers of all time to have never become world champion? Owen Hart, Mr. Perfect. Those 2 stand out for me in terms of never being champion. Rick Rude was another one. Those 3 never became world champion. Okay, I'm going to do 2 recent ones. Wade Barrett. Yep. And Santino Marella. Okay. Yeah, that's good. It's good enough for me. What did you guys think of Test and his WWE career? Started off quite well, getting married to Stephanie, but then from then on he just became so one-dimensional they really couldn't use him. He was just a generic big guy that really didn't have that much talent, in my opinion.
I think he was used pretty well with the tag team with TNA, which was actually an okay tag team for what it was.
Just Stratus. Got her over big time, didn't it?
They were a tag team to either watch out for how well they were being used. But when he went on his own, yes, went for the mid-card belts, but nothing really strongly stood out that we thought he's going to go somewhere.
TNA, Tits and Ass, Test and Steiner, or Total Non-Stop Action. You choose your favourite in the comment section below. We'll answer one more question on this Q&A now. It's going on a little bit long, but we've got a lot of questions to get through. Kid Swag RB. How do you think John Cena will be remembered in 10 years? He'll be remembered as the face of an era which kind of failed for a lot of hardcore fans. The most overrated champion, because the amount of times he's won that blooming belt compared to Ric Flair's, people have been saying that he's getting really close. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Well, in the Q&A there, guys, we've gone on for a long time, but we wanted to answer as many questions as we could to get through, but there we go. And any more Cena questions? People, stop doing this to me! And can we get some Cody Rhodes questions for me? Please? Like, I haven't answered any Cody Rhodes questions in a long time. Could you send me some Cody Rhodes questions? I would love you if you sent in some Cody Rhodes questions. So yeah, there we go. That's another Q&A from the British Fist. Put your thoughts and opinions, etc. in the comment section below on the questions we have answered. And keep sending us in your questions so we can keep this being a weekly thing, as we really do enjoy doing them. Until next time, YouTubers, from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, thank you very much for all these questions. There have been so many. Yes, we've gone over time, but like I've said, I would love to do an hour video for you guys. But till next time, YouTubers, goodbye.